Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for making your way here today. My name is Kyle Lascano, and I would like to bring attention to one of the largest famines in the history of the modern world. The catastrophic fatality rates of China's attempt to industrialize under Mao Zedong eclipsed those of both the Holocaust and the Ukrainian genocide combined. This almost unbelievable loss of life was a time in Chinese history called Mao's Great Leap Forward. The swift repercussions made daily life in China seem apocalyptic. Mao Zedong, whom I will cover in more detail shortly, was a communist dictator and founder of the People's Republic of China. It was under his oversight and leadership that China sustained human losses almost incomparable in the modern world. Mao's Great Leap Forward included the careless death of his own people and was considered to have been from 1958 to 1961. After 1961, the policies were largely discarded. Frighteningly, many of the tactics used by Mao Zedong to rule with an iron fist have parallels in today's Chinese government. Uyghur Muslim people in Xinjiang are being put into internment camps by the Chinese government for what the CCP considers radicalism, as per an article from The Guardian, editor Julian Borger, September 1st, 2022. These people are being treated inhumanely for their heritage and beliefs in ways very similar to Mao Zedong's policies. Mao Zedong came from a wealthy farming family in his youth. Young Mao was incredibly interested in furthering his education, which eventually led to his discovery of classical liberalism. This infatuation with his liberalism studies led to Mao to become a self-proclaimed Marxist. Although not overly wealthy, his beginnings put him in a position to where he could educate himself and become his home country's dictator. Mao's rapid rise to absolute power was littered with horrific actions against his own people, such as murdering those with dissenting opinions. As he gained power, he began to formulate a plan for a radical change to the Chinese economy. He sought to further industrialization and agriculture at whatever cost necessary. Mao killed or punished any dissenters until he finally fully pledged to the Great Leap Forward in 1959, per University of Chicago news writer William Harms, access September 11th, 2022. Mao created and enacted policies that mandated unreachably high production goals in both industrialism and agriculture. These policies were successful in the very early beginning, as not the entire country was being forced into collectivization just yet, and participation was voluntary. Some policies were to force the peasant class into massive communes and not train anybody on how to run the bureaucracy. Mao then gave the Chinese people unreasonably high goals and claimed the proceeds of the work, the equipment, and the land for the Chinese government. Total control of the land, work equipment, and proceeds of work is the end goal of communism under Mao. The Chinese government also began to inflate their production numbers to keep a semblance of control of the world stage and increased their taxes on the already underperforming farmers, according to AsianStudies.org article China's Great Leap Forward by Professor Clayton D. Brown. The government did not care if the farmers had valid reasons to be underproducing and would take the resources by force. Unsurprisingly, there were significant repercussions to follow. The repercussions to these policies were staggeringly fast-acting. In the next 3 short years, an estimated 30 to 55 million Chinese people died from the policies enacted during Mao's Great Leap Forward. These deaths are significantly higher than the deaths of the Holocaust and the Ukrainian genocide combined. Both combined to 10 million deaths per the Illinois Holocaust Museum article Holocaust Misconceptions, February 3rd, 2022, and the Washington Post's Michael E. Ruan on March 12th, 2022. This is a number sadly surpassed by at least 20 million during Mao's Great Leap Forward. These 30 to 55 million deaths would be equivalent to the approximate current population of Peru. The fact that you need to compare this loss of life to the population of entire countries perfectly exemplifies the bleakness this time in history invokes. It is clear now that multiple political, not natural factors led to the Chinese people having to endure an almost unbelievably deadly famine during Mao's Great Leap Forward. Mao's collectivization policies were so horrendously ineffective that they were disregarded just 3 years later. though sadly, after the irreparable damage to the Chinese people had already been done. Mao's Great Leap Forward seemed as if it was a long time ago, yet this was only around 60 years ago. That means that there are a whole lot of people who lived through this still alive today. There are many other atrocities such as this one littered throughout history, and hope that you can all learn about as many of them as you can. Thank you so much for your time, and again for making it out here. I hope you have a wonderful day.